How do you pick the right leads to call on? How do you pick the right leads to generate? What do you like to do? What are your skills? Who are you passionate about? You gotta know what actually hits with people. And guess what? The ideal audiences are all gonna be different based on what they want to hear. So a nurse wants to hear something different than a business guy. I'm Joe, this is Woody. We work at Knowledge Gap Company. I started this business January of 2023. Never expecting to do coaching or consulting. I did door-to-door sales before for 7 years. Was a top producer there. I was one of the youngest sales managers of all time.
What kind of sales?
Door-to-door, so we're selling educational resources. So I used to be able to go knock on doors in any county across the U.S. We used to travel to Oklahoma, Texas, and by the end of the summer, I would have 55% of people let me in their house.
Oh wow!
Which is really wild. It's it wasn't. People would say door-to-door sales, and I would just be like, I don't know. It's kind of like talking to neighbors, really, when you get really good at it. By the age of 24, I was running a $1.4 million sales organization of college kids. I would teach them how to go make $40,000 in a summer, 12-week selling period. Our best year was actually COVID. We sold $1 million of books in 11 weeks in Virginia. And it just goes to show the mindset. You kind of say, oh, you can't go talk to anybody. You just go to a county where there's no COVID. I mean, whatever. Yeah. There's always ways to figure things out when you have the mindset to do so. So I did that for a while. I used to travel a lot. Got married a few years ago now. Just had first baby, which is pretty exciting.
Congratulations.
One of the reasons to not do the sales manager position anymore in travel is just wanting to, go to church more, have roots, start a family, all the things. So then started a fitness company called Elevate Wellness before this company. We ended up hitting 6 figures real quick, and then I just didn't like the partners, so I ended up getting out of it real fast. And then do you know Brandy Lydon? Mm-hmm. So she was my first client. So she actually asked me to help her do some marketing, consulting type stuff on some content, and she was my first client. And then I ended up doing some Keller Williams. I did a presentation, got some more clients, did a realty firm and real estate firm, and Realty One, Anthem, Heather Ackerman and all them. And then I ended up having 19 clients in no time and with no plan. So I was just consulting people based on their needs. And then after 12 months, we ended up working about 55 businesses last year. And we rebranded to Business Growth Consulting because we helped people do some wild things. There's a slide at the end of this that'll show you some of our clients. But we work with a friend of Woody's, Tyler. Do you guys know Tyler Owens, Honors Real Estate? It's okay if you don't, but he's one of our guys. I think he's up what is it, 100 and what?
Last month he was up 131%.
131%. It's been 2 months. It's pretty wild.
Wow.
It's just insane. So
10 weeks. I think there's 19 new leads, which is just crazy.
Yeah. So we work. The way we brand ourselves is we help people generate revenue in any industry, and it really doesn't matter. We got our start with a bunch of realtors. We work with Charles. I think Charles is crossing his fingers that he doesn't get too distracted. He should be doubling his sales from last year this year. So everybody give it up for Charles. Little snaps or something.
I think you already have doubled, haven't you?
Yeah.
We don't know his stats. He won't tell us his last year's stats. He says that they're moods and don't matter. But okay, quadruple is what we're expecting then. So anywho,
it's a little flex over there.
Power focus sometimes. So anyway, so over the year. I wrote a book last year, so for the wonderful people here, you guys want a book? Here,
sure.
I have an awesome book. It's called Problem with Potential. Thanks for showing up. You can tell your friends that they might get one when they come, but we'll see. We gotta.
I'll just tell him if I get screwed up.
Yeah, I missed out, right? Maybe the next time we don't bring them books and be like, you should have been there at the first. Anyway, just kidding. But anyway, I wrote this book last year as I was starting the business. And then I wrote 3 courses, and now we've got 2 more consultants, Woody and Brandon. Brandon's up in Johnson City. We just hired our COO, Anna, in the back, so she's all things operations, and now we're here. And we do these all the time to just add value, and oftentimes we meet people that want to meet with us, and so it's that's great. It's a little win-win. But today, April told us that we should talk about lead generation. So I don't know. Kim's 12 years expert. I don't know if this is going to hit with you.
I just work off referrals.
You just work off referrals. Lovely. No, that's okay.
And so is my lead generation.
That's right. That's good.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. And so we'll kind of go through this, casually. I mean, we know Charles, how he generates leads. Charles generates too many leads. I can't get him to call them, So that's why he's building a team. And April, you've probably been in the business so long that you might know so many people that you get leads anytime. So we'll just kind of run through this, but I'll cover a few things, and I think the idea of this is probably to help people in your organization, since you guys are all kind of leaders and successful in the organization, and give you a good preview of some workshops we could do. We customize these based on what people tell us to do and who we expect to show. So we primarily like working with people who are top producers and have teams or starting teams and things like that. We're really good at that. Woody, before this, Woody started up Chick-fil-A's from 0 to 40 million plus in revenue. He's the team master. I recruited 43 people to sell books door to door. We just have these skills that just a lot of people come into real estate with, who knows, right? They're just starting a business from scratch for the first time, really. And they've just got a lot to learn, And even if you're someone who's done it a while, there's just a lot of ways to improve. So that's our goal today, is to leave you with some awesome knowledge, some ideas to improve. Obviously, if you're firing all cylinders, busy out of the, with your whole schedule filled up, this may not be the perfect presentation for you. But we blame April for that. So no, I'm just kidding. We're going to have fun now. Does that sound good? Yeah. And we are recording this, so you say something a while that will be on the internet. Okay, moving forward. All right, so I introduced myself here a little bit about my experience. Really good. I like proof. I don't know if you can't see that on there. That's the actual proof. I got the statistics on there. There was actually a week I had 59% of people let me in their house. Isn't that crazy? Do you guys know what the stat is for door-to-door sales, the average?
1%.
It's 3%. But it's way less than 59%.
You're not coming in my house.
Yeah, but you'd think, unless it was me and I'd been there for 12 weeks. But it's all about referrals.
I'll step on the front porch and talk to you.
There you go. That's okay. You might sit outside, in the rocker. Hey, that's totally fine. I get that. So anyway, we've grown client revenue by $2 million in less than 2 years. That's pretty cool. Stats about us, that's cool. A bunch of people we've worked with. We worked with the LTW group before. Okay, sweet. So things we're going to hit on this is talking about how to transition from unseen to unique. The way we're going to talk about leads is from a completely different angle than most people would. I think most people, when they come talk about leads, they're like, here's all the practical ways to get leads. And that's true. I think you guys probably have a manual on that. But then people try to apply it and they struggle and they get stuck. And for whatever reason, it feels like pulling teeth. Woody made a cold call the other day, and that didn't make him feel good.
That's true.
And that's just how it feels sometimes when we're starting something new. Woody's been with me for about 2 months, so he's doing all these new things. He can cold call like a champion. But the point is that we want to make every cold call into a warm call. Charles and I were talking about this yesterday, right? How do you pick the right leads to call on? How do you pick the right leads to generate that are controllable? Because I believe that regardless of market, regardless of anything that's happening, in whatever industry, you can generate leads if you're smart about how you're doing it. The market should not dictate your sales per se, right? Maybe it dictates your price, but it shouldn't just dictate your transactions, for example. Does that make sense? Well, we're all there. It's like a top 1% mentality here. So we'll talk about how to do that, and then we're going to talk about some actual exercises to get your juices flowing, and then actually some application. And then we're going to leave you with a little survey. Gives feedback what you're actually going to apply, because this workshop is worthless if you don't do anything, right? So they'll be like, hey, what are you actually going to apply? What was your favorite part? There might be a question in there like, hey, do you want to get coffee or follow up or talk about how you might be able to help you grow your business? And you can put yes or no to that. We're pretty light. And we've got some little handouts here for, the mailboxes and everybody here who just wants to learn about our business and stuff like that. And maybe if this is good, we'll come back in another time. More people around. So thanks for having us.
After vacations.
Yes, after vacations.
Yeah.
And give it up for April for setting these up.
I'll make sure
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
if you give me permission, I'll.
Yeah.
That's what we
I was
need.
telling them fall's better.
Yeah, and
Too hard.
yeah, we're cool with being here. We're excited to be here, and it's all good. So
Back from vacation, so I figure.
there you go. Back from vacation, you're in. You're dialed in. Well, if you need leads, this will be good for you. Okay. So the question we always ask ourselves is how do we sell in any market? And the average realtor pitch is this usually. And I don't know if this is your pitch, but if it is your pitch, it's not a great pitch because everybody says the same pitch. And if you do that, that's lead generation is going to be hard and feeling desperate. There's this weird psychology that happens when you ask everyone. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, hey, everybody, I do this, and you just start asking every single person. And there's no super differentiating factor of why it's valuable for them. And this is why people actually struggle with lead generation. It's not that they're not willing often to do the work, although some people don't want to do the work. But it's often just how you're branding yourself or you're communicating the value to the specific type of people that you're talking to. And people often don't know where to look. That's the actual problem. They don't know where to look and they don't do the work. Kind of agree on that? Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So how do we differentiate ourselves? And I think this is something people struggle with, and you may not come up with the answers today. But the goal is that if you can start on these things, Charles, we've been working with for a while, we've been building this out for his team. His team's ethos is a great name for his team. He's got his values. Whether it's selling or recruiting or anything to do with business, everything in your marketing plan, your ops plan, it all comes back down to what your mission, vision, values are. I'll give you an example, an investment space. All of you will probably like this example and completely relate, and you may have some investment properties. If your mission were to, maybe you just really want the world to have better marriages. Maybe that's just something you're excited and passionate about doing, right? And the way that you wanted to fulfill that mission is to create this really awesome romantic getaway for couples or something, right? This is something my wife and I want to do. Maybe we'll do it in the Smokies, right? And you have this romantic getaway. So if that's your mission, then the marketing and the vision is this thing that fulfills the mission, that helps people get away. Maybe it's a discount, whatever. But it tells you exactly how to design the whole house. They come in, there's the heart pillows, there's the chocolate, whatever the romantic experience is. You go detail-oriented and get it all together because of that mission, right? And you market that throughout the marketing language on your Airbnb post. Does this make sense?
Honey, I've been married 42 years. I don't remember heart pillows and stuff like that.
Sure thing. And maybe, and that's totally fine. But the goal would be that we would do it so people would have that experience, right? I totally understand. And then what you do for lead generation in that case is you go find people with the same mission, vision, and values. And who are some of those people? Some of those people, for example, could be marriage counselors, right? Church leaders. I don't know, marriage groups. And what you do is you actually go network with all of those people and you say, listen, if anyone's ever having trouble, or maybe if anyone needs to get away, here's a special link, it's 10% off, send them to my place. And if you just do that for 3-6 months, you'll have unlimited leads for that business asset, and you're fulfilling a mission, and you feel motivated and excited. And it's that simple. I think people overcomplicate. They get into something for money, they get into something for whatever, right? They don't know why they're doing things a lot of times, right? And if you want to have a sustainable, long-term, successful business, you have to have a mission, vision, values, because unfortunately in the real estate market, it's like 80% turnover, people quit, right? And so when we work with people, we want to build 86%. Thank you very much. April, I'm glad you're here. That's a great stat. We need to write that down and use that better. And the next one, right? So, and that's what and if you have this, if there's a reason behind what you're doing, you'll be more motivated to make the calls that we'll talk about later. You'll be more motivated to think about building a team or whatever it is, because you're trying to really pay it forward. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. This is the key, really, to success at the end of the day, is internal motivation. Because you can externally motivate people so long with incentives, but at some point, it's like money. You have enough of it at some point, All right, so what is your mission, vision, value? So we're going to ask you guys this question. So you guys got some paper right there, or phone, something to write on. What's your mission, vision, values? Well, this is not a lecture, it's a conversation. Shout out what you think it is for now. If you don't have one, we'll go and help you make one. Or if yours sounds like, okay, I'll challenge you to go make it better.
What is my mission, my vision, and my values?
So if you don't know, just ask yourself this. Why do you do what you do? Why would you be doing this over anything else in the whole wide world? Because you could be doing anything else. Why is it worth it to you?
Financial freedom is why I do it.
Money.
Yep. Yep, the financial
I didn't
freedom.
need the
No,
money,
being
I
able
wouldn't
to
be
work
working.
from wherever, whenever. Just that flexibility in life is why I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 offers at the beach last week. I was sitting on a porch.
Like the world around
Everybody else
you.
is on the beach.
Well, it impacts the world around me because I primarily work with investors, and I have done a lot of mentorships, and I feel like that I've made people a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I've helped the local economy. No, I mean, I really care. I'm really passionate about that. Helping newbie investors and even seasoned investors. It's very good.
So for the mission, right, where we're using April's example, as you guys are chewing on it, right? You want to make it something big and essentially unattainable, because it's something that's constantly, it's always something you're going towards. Does that make sense? A mission where you've arrived is a mission that dies. Does that make sense? And a mission where you arrive is a mission that people jump off the ship eventually. And that could be your clients or it could be people you recruit. Right? So it needs to be unattainable, but idealistic. Does that make sense? For example, at Knowledge Gap, our mission is to inspire people to do what inspires them by bridging their knowledge gaps, helping them build confidence, and what was
Thinking big, baby.
Thinking big. Thank you
Gotta
very
think
much.
big.
So that they can add value to people around them and make the world a better place. Right? And the reason it's that is because that's what motivates us. That's what gets us out of bed. That's what attracts the right employee. It attracts the right types of client for us. Right? Does that make sense? Our transformation is within. Like we're bridging your knowledge gaps, making you think bigger, right? Help you build confidence. That's essentially how you should feel at the end of every one of our conversations. That's the end all be all goal. But we can never achieve inspiring everybody. So that means our mission's never done, and that means we always need to pop out of bed, go make it happen. Does that make sense? And people who are interested in inspiration, they're probably people who want to work with us. Cigarette company owners, probably not, because they're killing people. You see what I'm saying? So it helps you start to figure out what types of people you might approach. Is this starting to make sense? Our vision is along the lines of we believe in a world where everyone wakes up every day knowing that what they do matters and inspired to do what they do to leave a legacy of impact, something around those lines. It's endearing to people. Those things are exciting to people. And if you're recruiting or if you're selling, right? If your mission is to make Knoxville better or something, right? Because economic development. I'm just going off of that as an example. And again, wordsmith this, please. Right? This is an example. You're finding people who want to make Knoxville better, and they'll work with you because you know who else? People aren't saying that. They're just saying I'm the best. You can be the best and focus on a certain type of mission that's passionate for you and exciting for the clients that you'd work with. And you might even recruit a bunch of people, if you're recruiting, for example, that would be along those lines as well. Does that kind of make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes?
For me, we had this conversation yesterday. I didn't come from sales so the whole mission, vision, values was like a hokey sales thing.
Hokey, I love it.
But other people enjoy or know, they get value out of knowing if it's written down and you can hammer it off like Joe just did with his.
With a mistake.
People find value, and I guess where we're at, and the value I see in is it doesn't do anything for me and my personality type, but I'm trying to sell and help other people that do have that. Same way some people are visual learners, some people are person-to-person learners, or whatever. So it was difficult for me to put that on paper because personally, but if other people can get value out of it, that's kind of where.
My value is seeing people in a home, getting to closing,
Yeah.
and putting them in their house. It makes you feel good, even though have been trying and trying and trying.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the really interesting things about Charles, why are you willing to do the hard thing that you don't normally do, that you don't like to do? What's causing that?
Because I plateaued the way I was doing it.
Yes.
I niched into what I was comfortable doing, and I hit my level in 2022.
Yeah.
I'm back at that level this year, and if I want to grow, I need to expand some of the things that I'm doing.
Time management's the thing for me.
Yeah. Go down to that mission, though. You're willing to change and make the difference because you want to help people. So your personal mission has to do with helping,
my
right?
Mission, vision, values, and I gave it to them yesterday, and this is verbatim. I had ChatGPT help me with this stuff too, so I'll be honest about it. But my mission is to have investors and regular purchasers and sellers. We want to make sure that they have changing the industry in a way that there's clarity and kind of an ethical base towards achieving what their goals are in a way that's going to make them money and get their what they want the most. So kind of changing the expectation in the industry of you can be an investor, or you can be a home purchaser and do these things in a way that's ethically and morally based and also beneficial to you and your business. The vision is to create that network of people and connect everybody and use that as leverage to beat other competition, and then help people meet that mission. And then the values are ethical, integrity, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how.
Yeah, I think one of those points too is just like he wants to help you. I mean, he's got Sono and all this stuff, and part of our coaching is be like, hey, like you should probably like monetize that a little better. But he's just such a helper, right? It's just like that's in his genes, and so he'll push through mission. If you think of the mission, he'll push through and do the stuff you don't want to do because you care about people, right? And that's the antithesis of helping people through the hard stuff, because real estate's hard, right? It's difficult. Obviously, that's why 86% of people quit. And I think just the vision of how we're trying to see a better future. Your clients like that. I'll give you an example of our client. We work with this client called 10X Engineered Materials. They sell abrasives to like shipyards and the Navy and all these big companies. And performance. What most people compete on is performance. Like I'm a better realtor than them. I can go faster, etc. Which is totally fine. You probably can compete on performance, and that's usually why people buy one or the other. But at the end of it, it's because they like and they trust you. And the fastest way to build likability and trust is actually through a very clear values or mission statement. Does that make sense? Because one of the things that their product does is it's biosoluble in the lungs, meaning that people who spray this, spraying these like hard metals against hard metals, right, and they inhale it leads to cancer. They develop something that doesn't lead to cancer. And so really the way they win is just saying, listen, our mission is to save lives. Isn't that powerful? Who cares about performance? Even if it's more expensive than performance, worse. You're not killing people. And there are a certain percentage of people who are just going to buy that because of that, for example. And certain people who are going to want to work with you or buy you and your real estate services because you have a mission that aligns with theirs, right? In a sea of saturation, that's what differentiates you, is the clarity of the trust you're building with people. Does that make sense? And the fastest way is one sentence. Usually we have to meet, sell, and then they finally get to know us enough and then they buy, right? But with the mission, you can do it faster. Make sense?
Yeah.
You can identify your types of people you might want to work with. Okay, cool. All right, so next step, once you have your mission, it's really clear. Okay, it's powerful, it's moving, it's emotional. Because that's why people make decisions, guys. Like everybody knows home buying, home selling, right? Woo! It's an emotional process, am I right? Very emotional, okay? So people make emotional decisions in emotional processes, and every decision is emotional when you really think about it. We like to think it's logical, but it really makes us feel good or it makes us feel bad. Okay, so it's all selling is a transference of feeling. So who are the people who are going to buy into your mission, who are going to be moved by it, right? So I don't know who that is for you guys. This would be an exercise I think we've got on here to identify them through an ideal audience mapping exercise. Okay, has anyone ever done an ideal audience mapping exercise?
We did that over at Keller. I remember that, yeah.
Okay, if you have not, here, let's just go through it together, okay? So just write down these 4 words, phone, wherever you want to do it, beliefs, interests, career, and location, right? These are the simplest ways. You can go even deeper than that depending on how in-depth you'd like to go. But these are 4 main ones. What are the beliefs of the people who agree with your mission? You could think of their spiritual beliefs. You could think of their political beliefs. You could just think of like what they're, are they ethical? Like what are they looking for, right? Interests, things that they would probably watch on TV or, be interested, activities, whatever. I don't know what it is for your mission. Inspiring people usually like location, conferences, for example. That's why we have a conference, because it attracts the right person, right? What kind of careers are they in? I think most people would know this, but if you go on Facebook or LinkedIn, you type in a career type in a location, like Knoxville, if you're trying to get Knoxville people to work with you, right? You'll have a whole list of people that might appreciate your mission. And because you have that mission, your approach to the non-random person becomes easier and simpler, and you have unlimited leads as you develop a better approach using an emotional, right, appeal, and you'll actually work with people you love working with. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So who are those people to you? What careers are they in, right?
And I can actually attest to that because, like, I've got 2 newbie agents that are absolutely killing it, but when they first came to me, they knew nothing, but they're kind of like me, they're investor agents. So I gave them a list of places to go, meetups, things like that, and then basically just scripts that I've used with investors, and just after practicing that for a couple of months, they're absolutely killing it. Yeah.
Off the races, right?
Yeah.
So I worked with Suzanne Eaton. She was a Realty One agent, and she really, the draw of being the best social media presence in the world was sort of her, like, we got to win social media. But she was in her mid-50s, and she planned on retiring within about 5 years. And social media plays and things like that are really a long-term thing. If you're young, it's a great thing to do, right? It's to win on social media because you're going to have a compounding effect over time. But if you only got 5 years and you're retiring, you might not be seeing that many benefits. I said, like, what do you like to do? What are your skills? Who are you passionate about? And she wanted to help like old folks, downsize. And so I was like, here's what you need to do. You need to go do workshops. There's so many older retirees who like have all these meetups. There's a location where all these people are, right? There's these people who have a sort of mission of probably retaining wealth for their children and inheritance, whatever, right? And we did that, and we built out some workshops, and that's all she does now. She workshops, she's got unlimited leads, and she's working on all these, and that's how she does it. And that's what's tough for most people is like figuring out exactly who you're going to work with in that location. And if you have this with your mission, it all aligns, you will be the person selling to those people that will win. You'll be the person that people are really excited to talk to. They'll appreciate your values. They'll appreciate your mission. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for being doing good. Okay, question, yes? Or statement.
Yeah, so kind of like an investor, I'm not all of us work with investors, but they have a buy box.
Yeah.
That's how I view this. It's like I have a buy box if I'm looking at an investment property. I'm only going to buy a single family that's going to make me this on my return, et cetera, et cetera. For clients, I try to think of it the same way. I'm only gonna, this is my buy box, this is the people that I wanna work with. And not to get too into that, because that's a whole other conversation, but NAR stuff coming down the pipeline, this part is important because identifying the people who want to work with us that are gonna compensate us is important. So that is on that list as well to me.
Yeah, like one of their beliefs that you're saying here is just people, again, when you're like ethical commerce or however you want to say that, like people are just like, oh, like I want you to get paid. That's the people you want to work with, right?
Right.
Right, and there's a certain demographic, and there's probably certain careers that those people are in, and certain things like that. And then the people who are like real stingy and like fighting you on your commissions. Why even approach that guy or girl, right? Like let's avoid that altogether with our mission. When our mission at Knowledge Gap is to inspire people to do what inspires them, right? It gets away people who are all profit, because it's not, what was the percentage on the growth for him, 131%? We get the profit, but we do it in a way that's like inspiring people. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's one of our goals, but it's not the mission. If that's the mission, then you'll cut corners and do whatever it takes to make money, right? Make sense?
Right.
Okay, cool. All right, so leads and applications. There's a bunch of ways you can generate leads. You all generate leads in some way. I don't need to tell you the way that you generate leads. I don't know how many leads that you have, but if you have inconsistent leads, okay, let's just run through the whole thing again. If you have inconsistent leads, your mission and vision values need to be clarified, so you can clarify your ideal audience, and then you can go approach these people. Based on your ideal audience that aligns with your mission, you then determine the sales channel, okay, that you're going to go after to go win in. Okay, and I encourage you to pick one of these and win at that first or exhaust it before moving to something else. A mistake people make is they'll jump around and they'll never get traction and they never build habits, so everything feels hard. When you don't have a habit, it just feels hard, right? When you have a habit, something that's hard for others feels easy to you. Does that make sense? So pick one at a time. Okay, so paid, right? So everybody knows there's a billion ways to pay for leads. You can do Zillow and BiggerPockets and Dave Ramsey. There's so many leads that you can buy. And if your mission, right, is to help whatever those types of leads are, first-time homebuyers, whatever you pay for based on the zip codes, right, investors in the Smokies, right, that's one, then you might go that route because of your mission is going to appeal to the type of leads you're going to get. I think people get struggle or get annoyed with Zillow leads because their mission's not aligned with the people that are calling Zillow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if your mission's not going to align, you're going to get frustrated. Don't waste the money. Don't waste your time. Organic, right? So this is like something Charles does really well is this organic or farming down there is where you have this networking group, right? And you're going and you're farming through networking groups and you're going to go meet all these people. And for me personally, it's a slow burn. I don't know if I would do that, but it works, obviously, right? There's no right or wrong way. It's just the way that fits with your mission. Does that make sense? And that's what Charles does, right? So networking groups, long-term relationship building in the community. Sphere of influence. This is something everyone should do, especially when they start. It's something Kim does right now, all the time. Sphere of influence and referrals, right? So just actually learning how to talk to your friends about what you do that doesn't sound super salesy. How do you get referrals from those people in a good way? How do you ask? What's your follow-up process? What's your 12-month calendar for all of these things? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So I think you guys probably train really well on there, referrals as well. And what do you guys do? You might build wealth through real estate. Would you agree? Right? if it were me and I were you, and you like young people or entrepreneurial type or sales type or whatever, go find the companies where they work and go talk to the owner and say, hey, April, like, I know you've got a bunch of people, nurses, whatever, that, are probably doing well and might want to learn how to build wealth, through real estate. I would love to come in like once a quarter, just do like a presentation, just to like help them be successful.
That is a good point, because my most successful year in real estate, I had just a touch under 400,000 that year,
Mhm.
and I got it because I went door knocking on HR.
Mm-hmm.
I went door knocking on HR and of those
Yep.
type of companies.
Yep.
And then I did little workshops, and I just absolutely killed it.
Yep. Because all those people have a need, right, that aligns with your mission, which is your solution, right, which is why you're doing it, and so on and so forth. You would pick the companies based on your mission. The process is the same, where you do a little workshop and you build these relationships organically. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
A lot of things you can do. If you know your mission, your vision, your values, right, and you know your ideal audience, you'll go find them, you'll go make it happen, okay? So that's what I want to leave you with. The last piece here is then how you're selling yourself in 30 seconds. You may have all of this down, and you may be selling yourself poorly, okay? So you need to come up with your, like everyone says, a 30-second elevator pitch, but you got to know what actually hits with people. And guess what? The ideal audiences are all going to be different based on what they want to hear. So a nurse wants to hear something different than a business guy, right? Charles, what's a business investor want to hear?
They want to know that you know your shit, and then they're. Oh, sorry.
Whoa, hey!
Whoa.
Whoa, you two.
This is being live
Oh
streamed.
my God! Wow, we don't work with that guy. I don't.
Confident. I think for an investor, they don't want you to BS them. They either want you to know what you know and help them in the areas that you can, and then tell them what you don't know. So shoot them straight. If it's a different type of person, if it's a new home buyer, they want you to show confidence as well and hold their hand more through the process. So it just depends, like you said, who you talk
Yeah,
to.
possibly more empathetic on the other one, right?
Yeah.
The investor might care more about the numbers. Like, did you do the research? Are you showing those types of things? The nurse might want more of a feel-good, and this is, of course, just generalities. I'm sure there's nurses who are like, give me the numbers, right? But
Yeah.
you get the idea. So you need to tailor your approach to the types of people, your ideal audience. They want certain things. Help make sure they understand that you can give them those certain things. When I'm 30-second pitching myself, I usually mention that little door-to-door sales thing, that 55% of people let me in, and a lot of people go, woo, because they know how hard it is, because usually entrepreneurs have done something like it and got crazy rejected, and they're like, immediately can have a relatable story to that. Does that make sense? And then I mentioned some big numbers of things that I've managed, because that just immediately proves, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't need to come up here and explain to everybody. I bring a book. It's like, oh, he's an author, right? Like, you don't need to you just need to have those little key points that help sell you in those 30 seconds. And then if it's ideal, like it aligns with the mission of the person you're talking about, their goals, right? The ideal audience, you already know what they want. They're going to be excited to work with you much more often than the general, I can do anything, right? Because that doesn't help them. Make sense? All right, cool. All right, last thing. The real problem. The real problem is their schedule and time blocking and time management, right? So this is all great, all of this theory is great, and you may come up with the best stuff, but if you never go approach anybody, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so one of the things that we find is an epidemic across the real estate industry is that nobody time blocks. We usually have an unclear process or strategy and are jumping around. Okay, that's why I'm saying picking one thing, and you have very little differentiation, and the reason is, again, because of these things that we've talked about today. So if you're taking notes and you pick something from today that you're actually going to apply, okay, keep it simple. Do one thing for a month or a quarter, right? Go all in on some strategy, and don't change, and put time blocks being blocks of an activity that only one thing you're doing throughout your schedule on a Sunday before every week. When are you going to lead gen? When are you going to follow up with those leads? When are you going to show houses and so on, or lists or whatever? Does that make sense? And if you'll do that and you actually do a few hours of lead gen, it's incredible. I got Charles to do what? A couple hours, a couple weeks, right? And then you were too busy. Right? That's the real issue for most people. It's just like, guys, go call people for 2 hours. Go knock on the HR doors for 2 hours a week.
A lot of agents are scared to do that, though, because they're afraid I don't answer my phone. I'm even guilty of that. Oh my God, if I don't answer my phone, I can't walk anytime. I can't walk anytime. But I agree with what you're saying. It does work. Not the one for implementing it.
It's like this. In a book I read once, The One Thing by Gary Keller. You read that book?
Yeah.
He talks about everything takes 45 minutes, even if they say it takes 5. Because it takes 15 minutes to get out of what you were doing. It takes 15 minutes to get into what someone's talking about. 5 minutes to do the thing, and then 15 minutes to go back to what you were doing. And that's what happens when you take a phone call mid-thought. And that phone call might be okay because you're mid-thought. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I know there's that feeling, but it's a scarcity mentality, and you want to have an abundance mentality with people when you're working with them. Sometimes there are the most important calls. Yeah, you should stop what you're doing and take the call. But sometimes, yeah, who knows? You'll get more calls, right? And if you have a controllable process for lead generation, there's less fear. For us, we know that if we were to call a bunch of offices, a bunch of businesses with sales teams, there would be a certain percentage of them that would let us to come do a workshop. And from that workshop, there'd be a certain percentage of people that probably want to talk to us. And there'd be a certain percentage of people that would buy from that. And that's all from me clicking things and not the market. And that's what you want for your business. Does that make sense?
Your business. See,
Yes.
that right there. Most agents just chase the deal. I gotta have a client, I gotta have a client, and they don't look at the big picture. Not a business, you need to treat it like a business.
I don't think anybody gets into real estate to be stressed out of their mind and working crazy hours, correct?
No, they want to have their own schedule.
That's right. And that own schedule turns into...
'Cause I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, and I thought, oh yeah, I could just control my schedule.
And now you work 100 hours
So
a
I
week.
work 8:30 to 11 every day.
And again, that's... you're going to have that out-of-state person come in looking at $1 million home at some point, right? And yeah, you'll probably drop everything for that person. But in the general routine of a week, right, with proper business planning, and if you believe that it's controllable and you build something that's controllable, that stress really does go away. We're not super stressed about revenue growth at the knowledge gap. If anything, we're just like planning it out. And that's how you really want it to be. You want to plan revenue, not hope for it.
Yeah, my husband and I, this year, we started, and it's actually working. We moved into a new house, and since we've been there, we have 10 acres now, and we love to get outside and work on our land. And we've really been doing, I feel like, a good job of leaving our phones in the house. Saturday, Sundays kind of for us. Not saying that we don't work occasionally on weekends, but man, when I take the weekend off, I am so much more productive during the week.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot more productive. Yeah, I've probably lost a client here and there, but
So, I don't know how the rest of you all feel, but I have a guilt complex. Like when I'm working with a buyer, the way that the housing market is, basically, if it's a good house, it's going to go like that. So I feel guilty if I don't get out and show that house, like when they call that day. So are you saying that's wrong, that we shouldn't feel that way? We should plan it out and say, okay, it's all right if we miss it?
I think if your mission dictates that you go out there as fast as humanly possible because you care about that person and that's lining with what you're doing, there's nothing wrong with it at all, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So there's no right or wrong of how you want to run your business. What she's talking about is most people don't have a business plan and they're just running after everything that comes their way. I worked with people where their average deal size was like land, like small pieces of land. I said, hey, like, how much time do you spend on that? Like 8 hours driving around. How much was it again? 30,000. How much you make? 700. You need to like not take those anymore. Or you need to do it all over the phone and just say that's how we do it.
I completely agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, you might be right at the right price. When I was selling books, one of the biggest reasons my sales, there was a summer I made like 80 grand 11 weeks. Like that was my take home or whatever, right? It was great. And the reason I did that wasn't because I was the perfect pitch best sales guy. It was because I got out of houses when they were no's faster or it wasn't worth my time. I had a standard. We used to sell in units. Units were just a placeholder for value or commission. I used to say I got to be out with a yes or no in 19 minutes or less, or it's got to be a unit per minute that the sale ends up being. So if it's a 100-unit sale, I'd take an hour and a half, 100 minutes, 90 minutes. Does that make sense? But otherwise, I'd be out with a yes or no in 19 minutes. And because I was out with 19 minutes or less, I could just see more people. And sales, business in general, is just usually it's a numbers game, right? There's a certain percentage of the people who are in a process of buying or selling a home. That's why it's a $1 trillion market. Everyone's doing it. So you just have to find the people, right? If you're talking lead gen. So depends. That's the answer. It's not clear. If the commission's too low, maybe. If the commission's really high, okay, yeah, you might be dropping things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Come up with that standard for yourself, right, based on your situation and based on your mission. If your mission, right, is to XYZ with the right person, you might have the people who want to plan, right, if it's an investor. I don't know if they're coming from out of town.
I'd say the other thing too is like,
yeah, it just depends.
when we talk about time blocking, most of the time it's when we're working with somebody and they just don't know what they're doing and when they're doing it. And so you can still time block, and maybe your mission is, hey, I deliver the fastest service in Knoxville.
That's
and
fine.
if that's your mission, 100%. If you're time blocking and you get a phone call, hey, can we go see this house? Yeah, we'll go see it. But the time blocking really just helps identify
The correct activities.
the correct activities, the right
Make
amount
sure
of
they
time
get done.
spent on it.
Yes.
And you're eliminating wasted time in your week, right? That's really the point of it. It's not to nitpick exactly what you're doing every minute.
Yeah.
It's to create visibility on where those gaps are.
You may have a Wednesday from 9 to 2 being times that you generally show, and you push people to that time, as an example. Does that make sense? And you just do all your showing from 9 to 2 on a Wednesday morning, and you never do afternoons because you have kids, and maybe you want to go hang out with your kids. It's just like, depends on what your mission, vision, values are, depends on the structure you'd like to have for your business. And usually people are like, oh, hey, this is a last minute call. I really appreciate you calling me. We're going to be able to see this within 24 hours. I usually show people in the mornings. Would that be okay with you? No? Okay. Then we'll do it tonight. It's just, it depends. You can come up with your own strategy on how you might want to deal with that. But I'm not for a low ROI for your time. I think your time is worth a certain amount. I don't know if I sat down with Charles and talked about, like, what's your hourly rate based on how much you'd like to make, based on 50 hours a week for a year. If your hourly rate's worth $100 or $200 or $500, that's a certain amount for the year that it's worth. And so you should know how many transactions you need, what the average transaction needs to be, your package size, right, what you're selling, in order to hit that. And you might decide that you need to pass off a certain amount of deals as referrals so you can get the bigger ones. Makes sense? Because if you're working with a small deal, you're not working with a big deal. If that's something that you care about, for example. Does that make sense? So you need a strategy to make sure you're not getting wasted time so you can work on the big ones with the biggest commissions in this case.
For me on the time blocking was because my husband had a stroke last year. And that made me really think that we have taken our lives to where we put so much pressure. And we've made all this money and we're not going to be able to enjoy spending it. Because I usually spend 2 to 3 months at the end of the year working on my business plan. It takes me forever to do my business plan.
Yep.
But my business plan for this year was more about my life and less about putting emphasis on business, which I made less money this year, but I feel better about life now, and now things are really starting to click and fall into place. But the biggest thing for me on that whole time blocking thing was taking back my weekends. So I've got an agent. I sling him cash. You know, if I've got somebody who wants to see something on the weekend, like, hey, $50, will you go show this house for me?
Sure. Yeah, I think having those partnerships are huge.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just helped me so much because I have something to look forward to, because for years I had nothing to look forward to. Angie and I worked together. When I pulled her in with me, I was that close to getting out of real estate because I was going days without sleep. I couldn't even remember if I took a shower. You know, it was not a good life.
For example, one of your values is family, right?
It is,
and if that's a value, hey, so when you're doing your buyer's consult, your listing consult, right? Hey, one of our big values, because you'd have a slide or something, or a handout, however you do it. I don't know. Everyone does it a little different. I recommend a slideshow. But one of our values is family. And so, I don't know how are you guys on the weekends with family? Is that kind of family time? Cool, us too. If we schedule 2 weeks in advance, then that's okay. But if it's a last minute drop of the hat, one of our values is family. That's why we work with so many families like you guys. Does that make sense?
Somebody's free on the weekends and that's when they want to show houses.
Yeah, that's,
Showing houses.
yeah, that's fine. And you can do it however you want, because it's really about the relationship with the client when you're there and what you want to put forth. And again, if you market and you sell yourself as family values and you work with families or something, they're probably all going to be like, oh, sweet, can we do a Thursday night? Can we do whatever? Based on a family schedule that might be better with them, you might find a quicker way, a better way to get them to go see or whatever. And again, sometimes you may just at the drop of a hat.
Date night and schedule. I
Yeah,
schedule.
exactly. Time block. You time block in family time. Exactly.
Yeah. If I want to do something with my kids or
Yeah.
my husband.
But I just
I
started
schedule
doing
it
that
in.
this year, though, because
Yeah.
another thing that hurt me really bad was last year, my daughter, she said, Mom, the only thing I want for my birthday is I want us to go out for lunch, and I don't want you bringing your phone. And that really hurt my feelings. And I thought, okay, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, my phone used to ring and Chelsea and Brian would just roll their eyes and.
Why are you laughing about that?
There is a problem.
I'll mention another thing. We're running out of time, but I will mention, all of these things you guys may talk about. If you are somebody who's stressed out, going crazy, you might be somebody who might want to start a team or hire an assistant to kind of take some of those calls off you. If you just had an assistant that was working a certain percentage of the time, taking phone calls when you didn't want to, it'd probably be worth every penny for the amount of family time you might get. And they'll probably get you more deals because anything you would miss, you're not missing. There's probably a good value proposition of why you might do that. I think a lot of people in real estate try to do it themselves. One of the things I told Charles to do, which he's now doing, and testing out some resources, is a TC. If you're not using a TC, you're losing out on revenue because your time is worth more than it costs for a TC to save you time.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's like a business building. That's a topic we could all go into at some point at a future one if we did a team building or how do you build a structure around you, because that's what we love doing for people is helping build that. And I think Charles is working on a team now, and that's one of those ways where you have like these people in your corner to help you. And when we work with Erin Cooper, she's got like 4 or 5 realtors, and they all work together to help each other because one of their biggest values as a team is flexibility. So they all have this mutual agreement where they'll go help and support each other based on what's happening with their families.
Okay. Zoom, would you be up to do Zoom with the agents?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're 14 minutes from here. We're just downtown. That's where our office is at. So come visit sometime. I think just finishing up here, does anyone have any other quick questions before we finish with the survey and all that kind of stuff? Man, good discussion, huh? I feel good. Thanks everybody for coming. What was your names, by the way?
Oh, I'm Donna. I'm
Donna.
Donna. I'm with Mortgage Investors.
Oh, cool. You Donna Bowling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Donna Dash. Okay. Oh, I just wonder if you knew her. Okay, cool. Me too. What was your name? It was Angie?
Angie Ryan.
Angie Ryan. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Okay. All right. So just finished presentation, guys. What's next? If you guys ever want to come hang out with us, here's some of our results. We help people grow businesses. If you're looking to grow your revenue, be smarter, grow a business, be stress-free, and that would be pretty cool. If you want to come talk to us, we have helped people do some crazy, awesome things. We probably know a lot of your friends, to be honest with you, because like Samar at AAA and Allstates and a bunch of different people around here that we've worked with, and a ton of realtors and so on and so forth. There's Honors on there. Tyler Owens, yes, he's really cool. So he's got a little team. So if you do want to meet with us, general, if everyone could scan this and fill this out regardless, but if you do want to meet with us, there is a little form questionnaire on there that says, hey, I'd like to follow up. I'm interested in growing my business. We go get coffee. We're really light. We just like working with people that want to work with us. For somebody who just enjoyed the presentation, does not want to meet with us, just put no there. Either way, please submit the form because it helps us know what we're doing well, and it'll say what's your favorite part about the presentation, so on and so forth. Let's see. Angie's not going to scan it. Not interested in scanning the form here, Angie.
Good with stuff like that.
Donna, you're welcome to scan the form too if you'd like to. You want to scan the form, you're here.
I'm noticing we're
Just shows you I'm an idiot because I never can get anything to do.
No, don't worry.
a very
Are
Android
you on
strong
your
group, aren't we?
G-scanner?
Oh, what?
A very Android strong group. And-
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I don't see it won't. I don't
Cameras
think
are way
it do
better.
it. Is that what's that
Realtors go and
name?
take videos.
You think those cameras are better? Is it that much
Well,
better?
it has.
Empirically.
Empirically. That's a good word. Oh, is it?
We could test it.
Yeah, let's test it. Yeah.
Go for it.
Could you just send it to me?
No, because then you
Video.
would be filling out mine.
It's all right, Angie.
But
Doing
the
great. Thanks for
sharing
trying.
platform isn't
You
it?
got this. The sharing platform?
Like if you text.
Yeah.
video
Donna, do you know?
Yeah, like sharing, all the info. So.
Google
Donna,
The link.
do you know
Yeah.
Logan White?
School.
No.
No, I just started with Mortgage
Oh, cool.
Investors Group like a month
Oh,
ago.
congratulations.
Which I
Not
kind of
interested.
know a lot of people from networking.
Says
Sure.
Josh
And
on
my
here.
good friend at work.
As an option?
Would you like to follow up with Josh?
Oh, well, just switch to that with Joe or Woody. I don't know why that
Where'd you-
form
where
is
did you come from?
the wrong link.
Okay, so I was with Stockton Mortgage.
Okay.
I started with them in the
I'd love to meet Josh.
Yeah, sorry, there's a little error on there, I guess. So
Cool.
if
That's
you're
exciting.
saying yes, that just means we'll follow up with
Yeah.
you, text you, and figure out time for coffee or
Okay.
something. So
Which is
Awesome.
great. So
Yeah.
it was just funny when you said time. I'm like, I work
There you
every day.
go. You hit the open button and you're ready to go.
So funny.
Thank you, guys. Can we all do a
Yeah.
round of
Yay,
applause?
thank you.
we'll take a round of applause.